Hi, this is David Gilmore, known as LDS Prepper, and I'm going to show you the difference between a typical garden and the kind of garden you can actually have with less work, less cost, less water, less time, and greater yields, higher nutrition, and more productivity. This is my garden, and it's a typical garden that I have every year and that you can have every year. If your garden doesn't look like this, you're doing something different than what I'm doing. Now my wife is in here. You'll see her, maybe her feet here in just a minute, but she's been harvesting peas. These peas are about done. It is July 24th today, so those peas are about done, and she's come through. They were loaded this morning and she's harvested a bunch. Here we have our beans. Our corn is 10.5 feet tall. Over here on our broccoli, we harvested broccoli about 6 weeks ago, and then we start getting all these secondary broccolis that are bigger than the broccolis you buy in the grocery store, which is what my wife mentioned to me. So now we're just taking the leaves and we're feeding them to our chickens. The beans are just enormous, and the corn, like I mentioned, is 10.5 feet tall. Huge ears of corn on here. It's literally like walking through a food forest here. There's food hanging everywhere as I walk through. So the reason why I'm making this video is I had an interesting call last week where a lady called. She says, I have a great garden, but then I went over to my neighbor's garden and she buys the LDS Prepper Premium Micro-Nutrient mix, and her garden looks way better than mine. And so I needed to come over and get some of your micronutrient mix. So she thought she had a good garden, and I'm sure she does, until she compared it to someone who's doing what I'm doing and using my micronutrient mix. It makes all the difference in the world. Look at these beautiful carrots, and look at the thickness of those carrots right here. Just giant carrots. We've got our melons here growing vertically. We got some nice set melons. Strawberries are amazing. Here's some more melons here. You can see that these melons have grown up 7 feet tall and then have come back down again. And here's the growing end. And so these will be 14 feet tall and be producing for months. We've got some beautiful tomatoes here. My wife has been harvesting tomatoes and cucumbers and everything this morning. The cucumber plants were loaded. She's probably got a basket full of cucumbers and tomatoes. But I want you to take a look at the cluster that we have here. And it goes all the way up the plant. So I'm just growing in sand and sawdust, basically nutrient dead soil. Here she is over here working hard. And this is this morning's yield. Look at these cucumbers. I juice my cucumbers, so I like them nice and large. She likes the smaller ones, so we've got some small cucumbers here. But look at the beautiful food that we have here. Look at these tomatoes. Amazing tomatoes. Cucumbers. We've got, what do we got down here? We got some more peas here. This is probably the last of the peas. Maybe one more harvest.
No.
This is it?
That's it.
This is it? Okay, she says she's done with peas. And then we've got the beans coming on. So this is the kind of yield that you should expect from your garden if it's getting food and water, especially the nutrients. I mean, these tomatoes, and I purposely bought let me just see that tomato here. This is a big beef tomato. I bought this plant from a nursery just to show people the difference between their big beef tomatoes and mine, because the ones that they have are not nearly that size or delicious because they don't have the right nutrients. Please buy the micronutrients I have so you can have the yields that you deserve. Here's my potatoes. You can see here they're 6.5 feet tall. Look at down this aisle. This is a 3.5 foot aisle, and my wife is shoulder to shoulder with plants on both sides. We're only growing in 18-inch wide boxes with a 15-inch growing space, and we have 3.5-foot aisles. And people tell me all the time, you're doing it backwards. You need a 3.5-foot growing space and an 18-inch aisle. Can you imagine what it would be like if we had an 18-inch aisle here? This is 3.5 feet, and we're barely able to walk through. So if you're not seeing these kind of results, or if you do want to see these kind of results, go to ldsprepperstore.com, get your micronutrient mix, the LDS Prepper Premium Micro-Nutrient Mix, and get the yields that you deserve. That 20-ounce package of LDS Prepper Premium Micro-Nutrient Mix will make 60 pounds of weekly feed. And in these boxes here, we put down 1 pound. So a 20-ounce package making 60 pounds of weekly feed will fertilize these 4 boxes for 15 weeks. That's the actual gardening season here in southeast Idaho. So one package will do these 4 boxes. However, I tell people, only give the micronutrients to the plants that you want to be healthy. We fertilize our lawn with the micronutrients because plants are plants and they need the same nutrients that tomatoes and cucumbers need. So here's our raspberries. We have a huge yield of raspberries. You can hopefully see it through the screen there. And we've got a bird netting on here to help save 9 out of 10 raspberries from getting eaten by the birds. Do you have fruit trees or ornamental trees or bushes, flowers? Then feed them the LDS Prepper Premium Micro-Nutrient Mix, mixed with the macronutrients, the NPK and Epsom salts, so you can have fantastic, healthy, nutrient-dense food from all your plants. This is LDS Prepper reminding you, if you are prepared and have the micronutrient mix that you need to feed your plants properly, you shall not fear.